Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Freedom Frequency this Sunday. And I got to look, 9th of November 2025. It's crazy how time flies. So, today's show subject is going to be Big Brother. I'm going to talk a little bit about Big Brother because, Big Brother is really prevalent in our times. I know George Orwell started talking about it, and I see here in the comments, Kio101 says, I'm reading the book 1984 now, and it seems a kind of synchronicity. Yes, it is, because that's where, I think the term Big Brother came from there, right? I think it was the first originator of that term, the Big Brother, it controls everything. And now we have Big Brother in our lives. We don't have to mince words. We have Big Brother in our lives. I'm going to go over a few subjects connected to that. I'm going to talk about some wins also, because it's important to talk about positive news too. Um, so before we continue, I want to say to you guys is I'm going to do a lecture actually, an online live lecture talking about human evolution. I'm going to bring it up here for you guys. It's called Human Evolution, Truth, Lies, and Destiny. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here. So it's going to be an online live lecture that's going to go live on the 23rd of November, and it's going to be about 3 hours long, and it's going to have a Q&A afterwards. And it's actually the version of a lecture that I did in person in Dutch in Belgium at a few venues. I did four. People were really excited about it. They really liked it. So if you're interested, check it out. In the first part of the lecture, so the first hour, I'm going to talk about how the theory of evolution is fake. Now, that triggers a lot of people if you say the theory of evolution is fake, but there's a lot of evidence for it. And I'm going to really discuss some important points of why the theory of evolution is fake and how it ties into the lies we have been told about our history. Because if you control the narrative of our history, you control our image of ourselves, of who we think we are as human beings. And if you control who we think we are as human beings, you can more easily steer us in the direction the elites want. It's very important. So it's very important to know about this. So that's going to be the first part about theory of evolution, and the second part is going to be more about the present and the future, transhumanism, eugenics, and how it all ties together into the how they want to hijack human evolution, basically. So it's a very interesting subject, in my opinion. So if you're interested, the link is in the description below this video. It goes live at 5 p.m. EU time. That's 11 a.m. EST for North America. But you can if you can't make it live, you can rewatch as many times as you want. And if you can make it live, you can ask questions and comment. So check it out if you're interested. So anyway, let's move on to today's subject, which is Big Brother. And let me first say hi to some people in this. I see Tamara in the chat. Hi, Tamara. So hi, Kio. Hi, Tim. Oh, you couldn't make it live. So let's start with the first, and I want to share some good news first. And I talked about it also on my social media and on my Facebook and Instagram. You can also follow me there on all my socials. I'm pretty much on all the social media. I want to start with some sharing some good news, and that is chat control is scrapped. Now, some people might not know what chat control is. So, chat control is a proposal by the European Union that would allow governments to scan all the private messages, like not allow, but actually do it, to scan all the private messages of all chat applications, even if they're encrypted. So that's like a total Big Brother. That's just scanning your private messages. And it was sold as being against child, I'm not going to use the word here on YouTube, but indecent behavior with children. So it wanted to scan for that. Now, of course, that's a valid reason they give, but 99% of the people aren't criminals, right? So why would our messages need to be scanned? It's just a way, an excuse to get into our private messages. But the good news is it has been scrapped. It has been scrapped. So the plan is off the table. So first, I'm going to bring it up here. It was Denmark that actually pushed for it, but now Denmark has withdrawn. So you can see it here. Denmark withdraws chat control proposal following controversy, because there was a lot of controversy and a lot of pushback. And actually, because of the pushback, it's not happening. See here in this article, I'm gonna bring it up for you guys here. Oh, let me see here, because there was a good quote in here and I can't find it. Let me see. Um, anyway, it's a win. So what they proposed actually was a mass surveillance tool, opening up everyone's intimate and confidential communications. Whether so that is just insane. But the good news is it's off the table for now. Now I know people are gonna say like they're gonna try to do it again, and for sure they might try to do it again. But we gotta count our wins. This is a win for privacy. This is a win, because I see so many people being negative and and if there's something positive, then they don't report on it. So I want to report on this too. And yes, people might say, oh, they're gonna try it again, but count our wins, count our blessings. If they would have wanted what if they would have gotten what they wanted, chat control would have been true. And it's because of a lot of privacy experts, a lot of privacy advocates that fought against is that it's not coming. So let me see here this quote, for example. This is from another article. The new approach. So they're going to try a new approach now. So it's off the table, and now they tried something else. So now they're going to try to make it voluntary. So you can say, okay, you can scan my messages. So see, they could make it mandatory. Now they're going to try to do it voluntarily. So there's probably going to be a little thingy that says, do you allow your messages to be scanned? So always read the fine print. I always turn, whenever I work with devices, whenever I install Windows, I always turn that off. Like, send my data to Microsoft, I always turn it off. So be very careful to turn it off, because if they want to do chat control in the future, they might make it voluntarily. So it's not mandatory anymore. That's a win. But it looks like, and this is new news, 4 years old, Denmark has a new proposal, so it might be voluntarily. So always read the fine print and turn those check marks off. Send my data and all that stuff, or use my data. Turn that stuff off. So, but it's a win, and also, so this privacy advocate says here, this is a triumph for the digital freedom movement and a major leap forward when it comes to saving our fundamental right to confidentiality of our digital correspondence, commented long-standing chat control critic Patrick Bayer. So it's a win, and I know they're always trying to impinge on our freedoms, but we gotta count our wins. We gotta count our wins, and this goes to something bigger, like, is the glass half full or half empty? Some people see the glass always half empty, and some people see the glass half full. And yes, we need to be discerning. We need to be like, very, very discerning with what the authorities say, and we don't need to, be naive about it. Yes, they might try to do it again, but we got to counter wins. And it's important to talk about the positive news, because the elites, the important lesson for this is the elites aren't all powerful. If they would have been all powerful, they knew it all would have happened 3 decades ago, and it still is not fully implemented. Yes, they're trying. Yes, there's a lot of fights on the front of freedom. And yes, it's a war against humanity, but they are not all powerful. Remember that. They are not. The frequency of the earth is rising, and they have to work within that too, right? So humanity is awakening. If it would have been up to them, humanity would have never been awakened. That's the thing. So they are not all. So that's the very important. They are not all powerful. There is positivity happening too. There are positive things happening too. That's very, very important, because sometimes in conspiracy circles, you have people who are very, I have to say it like it is, a small percentage of the conspiracy world is very negative and only sees the negative. Like, oh, they're going to try again. Oh, we're fucked anyway. All this world is effed and all that stuff. No, we got to be positive too. We got to be positive too. Marley says, everything they told us seems to be like, that is true. That everything they told us is like, that is true. But still, I want to see the positivity in here, the positivity in there. It's very, very important. So very important to, whenever there's positive news, count our wins, because our state of mind reflects back into our life, right? If we have a negative state of mind, like, we got to be careful that we're not turning into like some kind of victim consciousness in a way. Like, if we have a victim consciousness, even if you're aware, you can have a victim consciousness. Like when you say, oh, they're going to control everything. Like, if you accept that reality, then you're in victim mode. Then you have a defeatist attitude. then they have you where they want you. No, we got to keep that positivity, keep that fighting spirit alive, and we got to count our wins. So that's very important. Okay, so on to the next subject, Big Brother-like subject, is the Amazon Ring camera. So Amazon has a new doorbell cameras out, and these doorbell cameras have um, a new feature called familiar faces. And so for what that feature called familiar faces of the Amazon Ring camera, which is a camera they place on doorbells, is, and I'm going to show it to you guys in a bit, is an AI tool that scans your face and recognizes who you are. So the Amazon Ring camera could, for example, say to you, "Oh, Dad's at the door," because he recognizes your dad's face. But the thing is, these Amazon Ring cameras scan all the faces, even of the people in the street, and it can upload it into its database. So this is Big Brother on steroids, right? I mean, as if there's not enough cameras of the government, right? As if there's not enough cameras of the government already everywhere. Now Amazon is going to place, cameras on the door, and let me play you that clip here where they showed ring cameras, so you got an idea of what it is.
Video Doorbell 4, the newest version of our signature doorbell.
Hey! Oh, hey!
That works on any home. Get alerts right on your phone.
Hey, I didn't order that for you guys.
Sorry.
Color pre-roll video starts recording before you even get a motion alert, so you never miss a moment. It's the first feature of its kind for battery doorbells, and it's only on Ring.
I'll be right back. Okay.
Can't get to the phone? Let Quick Replies take a message for you.
Thanks for stopping by. If you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
Voicemail for your doorbell? That's awesome!
And they're handy when you've got better things to do.
So it's of course very handy, sold as being very handy and all that stuff, but it's crazy. It's really bringing Big Brother into your local neighborhood, right? You just walk, if your neighbor has something like that, your face might get scanned and gets uploaded into a database. It's just insane. And of course, it doesn't surprise me that it comes from Amazon, because Amazon, like all these big tech companies, are involved in this. There's so much could be said about Amazon. It's like, with Jeff Bezos, he's one of these tech bros, tech billionaires, like Mark Zuckerberg, that are really into this stuff. So I think it's part of the plan. When Amazon does this, it's part of the plan to even put more surveillance out there, more Big Brother, and this we got to resist. This is Big Brother on steroids. This is really crazy. And Erna says, "Wonderful life in the Hungarian countryside. We don't even have a doorbell." That's cool. Yeah, I love living in the countryside. I live in the countryside myself, man. It's so much better. There's no cameras here. Of course, when I go on the main roads, there's immediately a camera scanning you. But, that's how it is. April Apping says, "The globalists are feeling the squeeze of the people. I believe the future is bright." Yes, I believe they cannot control you if you do not consent and if you remain aware and if you do not give in to the agenda. I believe the future is bright, but we got to hold the line. That's very, very important. And if you accept that you're going to be enslaved, well, then you can just give up right now, right? I do not accept enslavement, digital enslavement. I do not accept it. They need your subconscious permission, conscious or subconscious permission to go along with it, right? So that's very important. Like with the jabs of 5 years ago, they needed your permission. They didn't. They pushed a lot of people. People got fired because they didn't want to take it. But in the end, we had a choice. It's very important. All right. So so like with Amazon, and I'm seeing a nice comment here that I want to go into from Elterlick. I'm going to get to your comment, Elkerlick. I'm going to get to your comment in a bit. I'm first going to finish this one subject here about Amazon. So, Amazon also does Siri. Siri, the AI you can talk to. So if you have like a Siri in your home, like it, where you can talk to like Siri, turn on the lights, or Siri, turn on my TV, like it's part of the Amazon Home tech thing, then you basically have a spy in your home. Like even if you talk to your phone, you're like your Google Gemini. It's like a spy, and your speech gets uploaded to their servers. It's basically having a spy 24/7 in your home, like the Siri. And actually, there was in the Belgian news and in other international media that it was found out that that it was recording private conversations and that people were listening to it. And even a whistleblower leaked one of the in Belgium. A whistleblower leaked those files to the news station, and then the news station heard those files, listened to the conversations, and they could tell where the people lived because of the conversation. And then they went to the houses of the people that was in a documentary, and then they said, "Here, we have your recording," and the people were hearing their own voices, and they said, "Oh, these are our private conversations." Because these private conversations were leaked to third-party contractors, and they were listening to it with Amazon, Siri, and Google. So, if you have a thing like that, like an AI assistant that you're talking to in your home, it's a violation of your privacy. It isn't private. Just as your Google searches aren't private. You think they're private? Of course they're not private. Google analyzes billions and billions of searches and data to see what's going on in the human consciousness. So I'm not a fan of using voice, turning this AI system on so it can listen to you all the time. I don't want to use that at all, because it gets leaked. I mean, the proof is out there, and it gets hushed up, right? We don't hear a lot about it in the news. It's like, okay, one item in the news. Oh, the Siri recordings got leaked, and that's it. So very, very important. And also, it's like the Big Brother. Like the cameras are coming everywhere. Like in Belgium now, there's a new, they call the ANPR cameras. So the cameras that recognize the license plates, they're now all connected. So I remember 10 years ago, it was the local cities, the local towns that started placing these cameras for speed checks, and they each had their own system, and that system was not connected. Now all these cameras in Belgium, it was just in the news last week, are going to be connected into one big system. So that was always the plan. First, it's local. Oh, it's just, my local town, the mayor wants cameras here. But now that all these cameras are there, they're all connected into one Big Brother system that can control you. And here, this is like, for example, a news article from 3 years ago. Police to install 2,000 new ANPR cameras on Belgian roads. So Belgium is full of cameras right now. I mean, when I drive, it's not fun anymore to drive in Belgium. There's speed cameras everywhere. You have to be like super paranoid if you're going over the speed limit or you're getting a fine. It's not fun anymore. It's just, you have to like basically drive with cruise control on all the time to make sure you're not going over the speed limit. I mean, it was so fun for me to drive, for example, in Utah in the United States. You could drive on these long roads and there was no cameras. It was beautiful. And that doesn't mean I need to speed, right? But it was just beautiful to drive there. No cameras you can see them everywhere, the cameras in Belgium. It's crazy. I think Belgium has the most cameras of every country. And it's such a small country. It's just insane, all the cameras they have here on the roads. So driving in the United States was amazing. Okay, they have cameras in the United States too, but not as much as in Belgium. And you have long stretches of road without cameras there, which is really nice. So it's this is how they gradually do it. First, it's only for speed checks, and then they're going to all connect them to one big system, and then you're going to flip on the switch for facial recognition, right? So facial recognition is not done yet in Belgium, but with the change in the law, because the cameras have it, the technology is already in there. With the flip of a switch, with just a stroke of a pen from a minister, they can flip on the switch in the software, and facial recognition is everywhere. Now they're tracking license plates, but then they can track your face. They can see wherever you go. Combine that with the Amazon Ring cameras they're rolling out now, also in the United States. I mean, it's Big Brother to the max, right? And it's part of control. It's part of transhumanism. It's part of Big Brother. It's part of absolute and total control. And I have a comment here about from Elkerlik that I want to address. So hi, Elkerlik from Limburg. It's a province in Belgium. And I want to address this, and this might be interesting for other non-Belgian or non-European viewers too, is that the difference in mentality between different countries. And Belgium, I saw a lot of freedom people. There's a lot of freedom fighters here too. There was a lot of people that stood up for freedom during the COVID crisis, which was amazing. But it is true that especially the older generation in Belgium, and not only the older generation can be quite fatalistic, like, whatever, we can't change anything, the government is bad. It's like a little bit of a defeatist attitude, like defeat, right? We shouldn't accept that. And I'm seeing in Belgium, people are very like every country has its good and its bad sides. And being from Belgium, I think I can say this. One of the bad sides of Belgium is a bit of a small-minded mentality sometimes. And some people might not like this that I say this, but I've come to realize that by traveling and by being in Canada and the United States a lot, is maybe it's because it's a small country, but there is there's Belgium is not as far when it comes to spirituality and freedom as the Netherlands, in my opinion. Of course, there's a lot of freedom fighters, a lot of good people here, but Belgians are like more reserved, more private, and they're not gonna be as outspoken against the government, because it's probably because in our DNA, because we were a country that survived a lot of wars. It's in the DNA of Belgium. We were conquered by the Spanish, the Dutch, the French, the Germans, so we learned to shut up. Belgians as a country, we learned to if to not say anything, because in private we're going to say stuff. We're going to not say it publicly, but in private we're going to say, oh, the government sucks, but we're not going to really say it publicly, or we're not going to speak our mind publicly. That is changing. I have to say there's a positive illusion. Again, I want to see the positive too, but this is something that Belgium had, and still a little bit, but I see it changing. But this is very, very important. Elkerlik says, centuries being dominated by other countries made us unaware of our powers. Yes, I agree with that. And that's very important for Belgium, that we have to stand up and we have to speak out. I see, even in the away community in Belgium, like even I was, I'm speaking out in Belgium, and even I was scolded by some people in the away community. Oh, you're talking about reptilians. No, in Belgium you have to talk about traditional things. In Belgium you can't talk about reptilians, or they don't invite you for their conferences. If you go too far, it's the way it is in Belgium. Some people may not like it, but that's what it is. I don't want to shit on Belgium here. I'm a Belgian, and there's a lot of good in Belgium, a lot of beautiful, awake people. But we need to get rid of that conservatism in Belgium. I've gotten scolded because I talk about UFOs and aliens, about reptilians, and as you're talking about reptilians, and a lot of of the more well-known people in Belgium were like, oh yeah, he talks about reptilians. We don't need to have him. That's how it is. It's very traditional in Belgium. Okay, even in the way community, you can't talk about the government, but you can't talk about reptilians, because that's too crazy. And that's how it is, and I feel that sometimes still in Belgium. Marla Pranbach says Sweden is the same. Interesting. I didn't know that. I guess it's something that plays in most European countries, but I really feel that in Belgium. And I have to say also, it is changing. So while I'm acknowledging the positive, I am also knowing that it's still there a little bit, but it's changing. So I'm positive. I'm hoping for more change in Belgium, as it is necessary. We got to stand up for our freedom. Erna says, could it also be that Belgium is divided into two languages? Yeah, it's an artificial country. This might be interesting for other people, because most people know that Belgium is divided in a Flemish and a French part, and they actually put a Rothschild buddy, Leopold I, on the throne of Belgium. Without the Rothschilds, Belgium wouldn't have existed. So that's why Belgium is such an important country internationally. The seat of the European Union is here. The seat of the United Nations in here. Brussels is a very important capital with all these international institutions here. That's why Brussels is the heart of Europe. And there's so many European international powers vested here in Belgium. Belgium is created by the Rothschilds. Walter de Bock, a very good journalist, talked about that. He said, with something called the Dictate of Calais, which was a law that established Belgium, a dictate that established Belgium, was established by the Rothschilds. And the Rothschilds controlled Belgium monetarily, as they controlled most other countries. So, if people, the international viewers that are watching this, want to know why Belgium is so important, it's because the seat of power of the EU is because the Rothschilds started it. They put a German person, Leopold I. So in a sense, the the Flemish nationalists in Belgium have a point that Belgium is an artificial state. Of course, we've got our own, our own country, our own sense of identity, as Flemish, we people and Wallonian people, but the state of Belgium is a bit of an artificial construct created by the Rothschilds. So April says there have been hundreds of sightings of the mystical creatures. I think you're talking about reptilians, right? The mystical creatures. Yes, it is a big paradigm shift for a lot of people. And what I'm feeling now, let's talk about reptilians to end this show. What I'm feeling is, and I was thinking about that, I'm going to go deeper into that in another show, is the reptilian aspect is making room for the AI aspect. So in the previous centuries, the system of control was reptilian, kings and queens, dynasties, that reptilian energy, reptilian bloodlines. And now that system is being replaced by the AI control system. So although it's working together with each other, what we're seeing now is the old reptilian king and queen system is being replaced by the AI system. And that's the new thing coming in, is this AI frequency. This I'm not saying all AI is bad, but AI can be used to control. There are negatives to it. So this technological AI frequency control, it's being replaced by that. But I'm gonna talk more about that in another video. So yeah, I'm at the end. Also want to mention, guys, that I'm gonna do much more YouTube videos from now on. So I have a few videos that are going to be coming out this week. So it's not going to be only my lives. I am back to doing also other YouTube videos as I did in the past. I didn't do them for a few months, but I'm going to be doing, so next to my lives, all doing more YouTube videos. So don't forget to subscribe to catch those. There's a few videos coming out, especially like a video on Tuesday about Remembrance Day. I'm going to do a little bit of talking about that, the fallen soldiers and stuff. So anyway, so I don't see any questions anymore in the chat. So everybody, thanks for watching. I'll see you not on another live next week, but I have some more videos coming up in next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for you guys. So anyway, thanks for watching, and please don't forget to check out my courses, my lecture, evolution, human evolution. All the links are in the description. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you another one. Bye bye.